In today's magical video, we're going to be having a look at the McFarlane toys, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is the All I Need is a Reindeer. So yes, probably as you can see here, it's a very small little set. It comes inside kind of a window box in which you can display the piece in. On the back you've got also the Mount Crumpet box set, which I'd like to pick up, but a lot of these sets, of course, as you can probably guess, are super expensive now. You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. And there's the side of it. But it does look nice having the little diorama piece inside the cardboard insert. Probably how I will end up displaying it, although I have to admit it does look nice just on its own. They do it obviously to beef up a little bit of the size of it as well, because it is really, really small. We'll go ahead and take this out, and we'll actually just leave that there for the rest of this review. And let's have a look not only at Mr. Grinch, but also his little dog Max. Based on the cartoon rather than the Jim Carrey live-action movie, which I'm really not a big fan of, here we have the Grinch, now dressed as St. Nicholas, or Santa Claus, trying his best to tie on a pair of antlers to his dog's head. Obviously, the weight of the antlers is so heavy that the Grinch has to saw off the excess branches, the excess limbs, so that the poor little dog, can actually hold the branch on top of his head. On the base, you've got How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and there's the underside of it. Two of the figures are attached to it. You can't take the figures off or anything like that. You know what, we'll look at Grinch first. I guess inadvertently we're going to be looking at both of them at the same time, but focusing our efforts on the Grinch, you've got the very piercing red eyes and the devilish sneer as Grinch is very happy with the work that he's accomplishing. He's certain, I'm going to move this just out of the way for a second, he is certain that he's going to pull one over on the Who's down over at Whoville. As you can see, he's got the little fur trim on the bottom of his Santa jacket, fur on the collar and sleeves, as well as down on his little fur boots, his little Santa boots. Paint gets a little on the sloppy side, unfortunately, just because of how small this is. A lot of the white carries over into the legs, a lot of the red carries into the fur trim, and some of the white actually has carried itself and splotched itself down on little Grinch's feet. But again, the face sculpt is really good, if not for the fact, again, it's a very small thing. I think this should have easily been about maybe about that size. This is nice to be putting on display for Christmas time, but it's far too small, I think, to really get as much enjoyment out of it as one could get if it was simply a larger piece. So there is Mr. Grinch. Let's look at poor little Max. So clueless, he has no idea what's happening. All he knows is he's trying to be there for the Grinch, this guy, trying to ruin Christmas. All right, yeah, all right, I'll join your campaign for this. So you can see that he's just kind of going along with it. The string that he's using to actually tie the antlers onto him is a real string, which I think is a nice touch. You can see where the weight of the antlers are starting to weigh heavy on this poor little dog's head. As you can see, the little wrinkles starting to develop as his poor little head is getting squished. Fur also is done quite nicely on the smaller little dog. His entire body has a nice sculpting of, like I said, the little fur on the body, the head, and everything actually is panel lined as well, which for as small as this is, I'm really impressed. Panel lining not only around the eyeballs, but panel lined around the eye, the actual pupil as well. Very small, very nicely done on all accounts. I love the look on Grinch. He could have been maybe just a little shader darker, as he does come across a little on the light side. The dog is the right color, but I feel like Grinch maybe is a little too light. This particular release of sets, there was also The heart grew 3 times that day, or 2 times that day. I've already had a look at that set. I really wanted to pick it up a second time around, but I couldn't find it at the time of reviewing the Christmas spots. The Mount Crumpet set eventually I would like to get my hands on, but unfortunately with a lot of the McFarlane sets, these gets a little on the expensive side the longer and longer you wait to get them. Small in size, yes, but I have to admit there's a certain likable charm to All I Need Is Reindeer here. The Grinch Stole Christmas is one of my all-time favorite animated Christmas shows. It's one of those things I watch every single year, and I tend to watch it a lot more than I watch the likes of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman. There's just something about the fact that this Grinch wants to ruin Christmas for all those poor Who's down in Whoville. And sadly, Max is just along for the ride, just trying to understand why Grinch wants to do this. This is a really nice piece, but it gets really too small. McFarlane should have made this a lot bigger. He should have made it about the same size as what he would normally put into the efforts of, say, a Twisted Xmas. Maybe that piece should have been about those sizes, not as small as what we get right here. Especially in aftermarket as well, a set like this, as small as it is, could still get you close to about a $25 to $30 price point. So again, the prices in these have really skyrocketed. If you can find them for a really good price and you don't mind the size of it, I think it's a really nice piece to be putting out maybe on a Christmas tree. You probably somehow can find a hook, or even really what you could do is, because the hat attaches in such a way that the pom-pom attaches to the fur, it's created somewhat of a loop. You could fit like a little hook around that, hang it on your Christmas tree if you want, or you could probably put it on your fireplace mantle display, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Great looking piece. It's got some really intricate little details for as small as it is, but that's the big problem with it. It's just way too small. Should have been a lot bigger. Today, though, we were having a look at the McFarlane toys. This was How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and this particular set was called All I Need Is a Reindeer. If you guys like this video, certainly hit it with a like. That's always nice. And certainly stay tuned, because we're going to have a look at other Christmas-related videos throughout the span of this entire month. All of December is going to be Christmas spots, but don't worry. If you're not really into the Christmas spirit, we're still going to have regular videos here on this channel as well. So stay tuned for both these Christmas spots and regular videos to come. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.